Hey everyone, and welcome, and thanks a lot for being here with me. So I'm Amanda Hunter, and I'm a digital marketer with a real love for blending technology and creativity. And I especially love building web experiences for IoT products. Now, I know IoT can feel like a buzzword that we just really throw around, but at its core, it's all about making our lives easier and connecting everything from the thermostats to our coffee makers. But let's be real, these products can also be intimidating. So if you've ever opened a box and stared at the manual and thought, oh, this is really annoying, I don't want to deal with this today. So my goal today is to show you how we can take that annoying note moment and turn it into something more, wow, this is really easy. And spoiler alert, it all starts with a great website. So let's kick things off with a question. Why is web such a game changer for IoT adoption? And here's the thing, IoT is incredible. It's like magic in the form of tech. Your thermostat learns your habits, your lights sync with your mood, and your fridge tells you when you're out of oat milk. But let's be honest, in all its brilliance, IoT can also be really complicated. And it's not just about getting your devices to talk to each other, it's about making them a seamless part of your life. And it's not always easy. Devices sometimes don't connect, settings that don't always save, and that apps that almost feel like they're written in another language can make us give up before you've even really started with this amazing technology. So this is where web comes in. It's the first stop on a user's journey, whether they're researching a product, trying to set it up, or figuring out why their smart speaker won't just stop saying, hi, sorry, I didn't quite get that. But let's face it, when something isn't working, no one pulls out that instruction manual anymore. It's probably already in the bin. They go straight to Google. So your website needs to be more than just a pretty landing page. It has to be an ultimate guide where it's a place where users can find clear answers. They're easy to follow instructions there, and they're confident and to keep going. And that's why web is such a game changer for IoT. It's where the relationship between users and their devices can begin. And if we get it right with that great web experience, we can turn curious visitors into confident users. So let's explore in the next couple slides how we can make that happen. All right. So let's talk about what makes a web experience truly magical. And it all comes down to three things. First, it has to educate. It also has to be simple, and it also has to build trust. And if we can nail down these three things, you're not just creating a website, you're creating a space that feels like a supportive and helpful friend to your users. So if we break that down a bit further, we can look at So before anyone can love or even use your IoT product, they need to understand what it does and why it matters. And this is where having simple, digestible content comes in. Think bite-size, not brain surgery. Short videos? Yes, please. Show people that what your product can do in 60 seconds or less. FAQs, they can become your best friend, and make them clear, concise, and make sure that they're covering users' real concerns and not just fill it up with marketing fluff. We have enough of that these days. Also, step-by-step guides can be an absolute yes, and make them interactive, visual, or even gamified if possible. No one just wants to scroll through a boring wall of text anymore. And I think the key here is really to anticipate questions before they're even asked. So if your website truly answers those questions effortlessly, users will feel smart and more confident from the get-go. Next, let's look at simplification. So in your onboarding process should feel easy that users barely notice that they're learning. If they're scratching their heads on your website or Googling what this button is even for on a different website, then we've already lost them. Not good. So 2 web experiences that I really like to add to websites is having interactive tutorials and also having virtual demos. So interactive tutorials are like having that friendly coach or that friendly best friend or even a therapist guiding you through a step-by-step guide on how to use your IoT product and making sure everything is simple. And then virtual demos let you try products risk-free. So they're like testing out a smart gadget before it becomes even part of someone's life. Pretty cool, right? So when you simplify, you're not just removing barriers, you're creating moments of delight. And those aha moments, when users feel like everything clicks, are what keep people engaged and coming back for more. So finally, let's talk about trust. And I think this is where a lot of IoT products trip up, to be honest. People love the idea of a smart connected device, but they don't love the idea of their data being misused or their privacy being compromised. And this is where transparency really becomes a non-negotiable on your website. So make sure that you're clear and you're upfront about it. Make sure you're clear about what data you're collecting and why you're collecting it. Also, how you're protecting it. So when users know how to do this and also know how they can manage their privacy settings as well. And it's all about being consistent. So if your web experience is polished, professional, easy to use, users will assume that about your product too. On the flip side, if your site feels clunky or outdated, it can clearly be a red flag. So when you build trust, you're not just earning users, you're earning advocates. And that's where people will not only stick with your products, but recommend it to others as well. All right. So let's talk about the secret sauce to an amazing web experience. And it includes 3 key ingredients: personalization, interactivity, and localization. When these 3 come together, your website doesn't just inform, it connects and it engages. So first is personalization. And this is what helps make users feel like your site was built just for them. It's not just showing their name, it's about serving up content and recommendations that match their specific needs and their preferences. So imagine landing on a site and thinking, wow, this company totally gets me. I really like it. And that's the power of personalization. It makes users feel seen and valued. The next ingredient we have is interactivity. Let's be honest, a static site can be boring, but tools like live demo, product configurations, quizzes can make the experience dynamic and fun. An example could be being able to visualize a product in your own space through a virtual demo or customize it before buying. And it doesn't just inform, it really excites and makes the product feel real and quite magical. And interactivity keeps users engaged and encourages them to explore your product and your product suites further. And then finally, we have localization. If your audience is global, your site needs to feel it, and it needs to feel local in all your different markets. And this isn't just about translating the language, it's about adapting to the cultural nuances, imagery, and even tone of the website to match your different regions. So a site that's designed for Spain should feel distinctly Spanish, and not just like it was that American site copy-pasted into Google Translate. And when you get personalization, interactivity, and localization, your website becomes more than a platform. It becomes a memorable experience that resonates with every visitor. Great. So let's talk about the onboarding process after someone buys your IoT product, because that's where we know the magic or the disaster can happen. So a smooth onboarding process can be the difference between someone saying, "This is the best product I ever bought," or tossing your IoT product in the drawer and never seeing it again. I really hope that doesn't happen. So how do we make the onboarding process on the web not just functional, but fantastic? And it comes down to, again, some magic ingredients of support tools, reducing that complexity, and boosting engagement. So let's break these things down a bit further. So first up, as I mentioned earlier, guides and tutorials are amazing. And I'm not just talking about boring 50-page PDFs that no one wants to read. Think bite-sized, step-by-step instructions that feel like your helpful friend or that therapist or a coach walking you through the process. Video guides are amazing, interactive tutorials even better. And the goal here is to make setup so straightforward that users barely realize that they're learning. They click, they follow along, boom, they're up and running, and without ever having to Google, why won't my smart fridge connect to my Wi-Fi? Then we also have AI. Hello, AI. We love AI. AI chatbots for personalized support. let's talk about AI chatbots. They're like the superheroes of support nowadays. I absolutely love them. They're available 24/7 and they don't get tired or frustrated. And they're shockingly good at answering user-specific questions fast. Picture a user is stuck setting up their smart thermostat at 11 p.m. Instead of throwing in the towel, they hop on your site and ask the chatbot, why isn't this working? And they get instant personalized help. It's like having tech experts on speed dial. And it not only solves problems quickly, it also builds confidence in your users so they feel supported and they're more likely to stick with your product. And then finally, let's look at reducing complexity. So let's be real. IoT products can be intimidating. And if your onboarding process looks like it requires an engineering degree, people are just going to bounce. No, they're not going to be interested. So reducing complexity is everything. Simplifying the setup process so it feels intuitive, make sure that you're using clear language, and also remove any fluff or any unnecessary steps. And also anticipate where users might be getting stuck. So it's all about minimizing that frustration on your and making that information clear. So you're maximizing those aha, woohoo, great moments that just click with your users. And then, I thought that was the last point, but let's look into boosting engagement as well. Sorry, one more in there. bit of a boost as well. So now there were things this is where I think things are really getting exciting. When you nail onboarding, you're not just solving for an immediate problem, you're laying down the foundation for long-term engagement and loyalty. And when users feel like they mastered the setup process, they're way more likely to keep exploring your products and recommending it to others. And they're not just using it, they're loving it. And that's the ultimate goal, right? An onboarding experience that doesn't just encourage adoption, it creates lifelong fans. So to sum it up, onboarding isn't just about getting users through the door or even looking at your website. It's about making their first experience on your site and with your product enjoyable and empowering. And these are, with the right tools, a focus on simplicity and an emphasis on engagement, you can turn even the most hesitant users into your biggest advocates. Okay, so that was a lot of theory, and I feel like now it's a good time to go into some real world examples of brands that I feel can get it right. So let's take a look at Nest. So we've all heard of Nest, love Nest, and they really redefined their onboarding experience for their smart thermostats. One of the biggest hurdles with IoT is the setup process. I think we all know that. And it can feel intimidating even for the most tech-savvy users. So Nest solves this by offering interactive tools on their websites. Love a good website. And this guide provides users with step-by-step thorough guides for thorough installation. And these tools aren't just about showing what you do, they actively help their users understand how to do it. For example, their app walks through how to identify existing thermostat wiring and connecting their new Nest device and how to set it up on your Wi-Fi. And it's hands-on and intuitive, meaning users don't need the experts to feel confident in the process. And what's even better is Nest goes beyond by just helping you install their advice. Their tools also show you how to optimize the thermostat for energy efficiency and sustainability. And this might they also explain how you can use things like eco mode or suggest schedules based on your habits. And it isn't just about functionality, it's about really empowering the users to get the most out of the device day one, looking at their website, being able to figure it out. And the result is a setup process that feels approachable, not overwhelming, and a product that delivers immediate value. I love Nest, as we just said. So Nest has this approach that shows us that simplifying complexity is not just helpful, it's essential to driving adoption and user satisfaction. And another great example we have is Philips Hue. And I think this is awesome, these lights now, especially when it gets dark at 4 p.m. It's great to have some colorful mood lighting here. Just been amazing as well. So really like this product as well. So if we just talk about Philips Hue for a minute and how they've added a seriously cool, immersive twist to choosing lighting. So instead of just showing you pictures and throwing technical specs at you, they let you visualize how on their website, how their lights will look in your home even before you buy. It's an amazing virtual demo. I suggest you go and try it. It feels like trying clothes in a fitting room, but it's with living room light. You want to see how that cozy, warm glow feels in your space, or what bright daylight can do to your productivity corner. You can just really go on their site and experiment and play around until you get just the right ambiance for your mood as well. And this isn't just about selling a product to them. It's about removing all the guesswork and making the experience feel personal and fun. And here's the genius part about it. Philips Hue doesn't just stop at functionality. They support making users feel supported, confident, and genuinely excited about their product and their choices. I'm genuinely excited about it now. I want to go and buy some of these lights. And I think it's a perfect example of how a great onboarding isn't just practical, it's emotional. And when you empower users to create something that feels uniquely theirs, it's not just about offering a product, you're offering a great, awesome experience as well. Okay, so now let's geek out for a second and talk about what makes all of this IoT magic possible. And there are three big players here behind the scenes. We have, of course, AI, then we also have AR and VR, and then, of course, cloud infrastructure. And together, they create web experiences that feel seamless and almost magical. So first, we have AI, and this is the brains of the operation. AI personalizes the user experience by learning what people like, what they click on, and what they ignore, and even how they interact with the IoT products and also with your website. So it's really like having a mind reader built into the website and serving up exactly what your users want from their information and their onboarding, even before they know what they want. And also we have AR and VR. And these technologies create an immersive, interactive demos that let users try before they buy. So imagine being able to, we talked about it with the Hue lights, but you could also do this with having a piece of furniture and how you'd like it to look in your living room, or how the smart light can really change the mood of your space from all these screens while you're just like hanging out at home. And again, it's engaging, it's fun, and it really removes that uncertainty about buying a new and quite expensive product. And finally, there's cloud infrastructure. And this is the unsung hero that keeps everything up and running smoothly. And it ensures that even if millions of users are on your platform at the same time, there are no slowdowns, there's no crashes, and no frustrating loading scenes. And when these three technology aspects work together, the result is a web experience and an IoT product that feels effortless and intuitive. Like everything, it's just working exactly how it should. And it isn't just about what kind of experience we want as users. Isn't this what we want? And of course, finally, it's not all rainbows and sunshine. There are real challenges in these experiences. First, handling user data is a big responsibility. And it's huge because trust can be built or completely broken based on how you manage privacy. And second, unfortunately, there are a lot of development costs when it comes to IoT products. So building amazing experiences isn't cheap, and it takes a significant investment. And then finally, of course, there's that level of scalability. So what works perfect for 10 users might collapse when you have it for 10,000, millions, or maybe even billions at some point. Here's the thing, like with everything, these are challenges. They're not excuses not to get started. They are opportunities. And if you're really motivated and excited, you can make it happen. So just make sure that you're tackling them head on. And you're not just solving problems, you're setting yourselves up as a confident leader in your space. I'm at the end, and let's just wrap up with a few best practices to keep in mind when creating exceptional user experiences for your IoT products on the web. So first, I'd say listen and iterate. So your user is your best source of insight. Pay attention to their feedback and keep improving based on what they're telling you. The best experiences are built over time, not all at once. Second, let's keep it clear. Simplicity is your superpower, so avoid jargon, and complicated explanations. The goal is to make everything as easy to understand as possible. No one should need a manual just to navigate your site. And third, accessibility is key. It's a great experience. We need that great experience to work for everyone. And this means designing for different abilities, devices, and needs, so no one feels left out or frustrated. And the truth is, it's not just about launching something perfect right away. It's about building something that can grow, it can adapt, and it can evolve over time. And when you focus on these best practices, you're setting yourself up for definitely long-term success. In conclusion, just to wrap everything up, the future of IoT isn't just about cool gadgets. It's about the experiences we build around them. An amazing web experience that's user-friendly, engaging, and intuitive can really take IoT from, do I really need this product, to yes, I can't imagine my life without it. And the IoT revolution is already happening, and it's on us to make these technologies accessible, seamless, and why not? Try and make it a little fun too. And when users feel empowered and excited, adoption isn't just easier, it's inevitable. So that sums it up for today. I hope you enjoyed the talk and learned a little bit, and I'd love to connect and speak more about web experiences and IoT. So thank you so much, and speak to you soon. Bye-bye.